guys, Tanya here. I've had 3 questions on the Facebook page recently that I wanted to address in a video log. Anyone who knows me knows that I can go on for a long time, so I'm going to try my best to keep this short and sweet. Okay, first question is, when I get my kids involved in athletic activities, specifically races, do I push them to do it? Do I let them decide if they want to do it? And my answer is I do a little bit of both. My girls are very different. One of them is game to try new things and the other one not so much. So I do try to gently nudge them to try. If they are vehemently opposed, obviously there will be no forcing. But I think it's great for kids to try new things and to participate even if they aren't in first place. I just think it's key to kind of guide them towards a healthier lifestyle. And one of the things that is non-negotiable in our house, though, is that they do have to be involved in a certain number of physical or athletic activities. So they can choose what those activities are, but we do, recommend to the kids that and educate them as to why it's important. So that was a question answer to number 1. The second question was, for long haul flights and getting on an airline, how do you prepare or how do you stop from getting stiff and uncomfortable on the airplane? And my top 2 tips are, number 1, drink lots of water. I know when I go on vacation and we're on the airplane, I think, oh, time to have a glass of wine, but it really is the worst thing you can do because it dehydrates you, and so anything that's already stiff and sore is just going to get more so, and you can find that you can get swelling and just be generally uncomfortable. So lots of water, tip number 1. Tip number 2 is stretch and get up and move around. So some of my favorite kind of stretches that you can do when you're sitting are like a figure 4, where you're putting one ankle across the opposite knee and you're taking your belly button towards the fold in your legs, so stretching forward. And you can do these fairly inconspicuously to stretch and open up your hips. You can even stretch into your hamstrings just by lowering down, straightening your legs a bit. So there are a lot of different ways you can stretch on an airplane, and it just depends how much you mind being a spectacle or not. But you can also get up and walk around, walk to the bathroom, walk the aisles if you're on a really long flight, just to keep moving. So I hope that those tips help. Number 3 question is how to strengthen pelvic floor muscles, or the weak Kegel muscles. Okay, so this is near and dear to my heart because after I had my daughters, there would be no jumping in the trampoline or no jumping jacks, and I've now rectified the situation, I'm glad to say. But you have to think about how long there's all this pressure when you're pregnant on these muscles. So they do take some time to come back, and they take a lot of effort and consistency too. So my top 3 tips to strengthening your Kegel muscles, your pelvic floor muscles, are number 1, to focus on holding them in all the time. So anytime you're driving in the car, you're standing in the line at the grocery store, always think about it. When your inner thighs are engaged, more often than not, so are your Kegel or pelvic floor muscles, interestingly enough. So I'm going to stand back here to show you a few different positions. 1 is to always engage, I mentioned, your inner thighs. So roll your inner thighs in and back. That'll automatically engage your abdominals, and it automatically pulls those pelvic floor muscles up and engages them. So you want to think about, if you had to go to the bathroom really bad and you want to stop yourself from peeing, what would you do? You pull up. So you have to think about that pulling up motion, bringing your navel into your spine, keeping everything tight, and really focus on that consistently throughout the day, not just in your workouts, not just for a few minutes, but really focus on it. That's number 1. The other is that when you are doing abdominal work, you get down, you're doing crunches, rather than just doing crunches where you're creating a lot of momentum, where you're kind of like wildly swinging your upper body up. It's okay to just tilt your pelvis, squeeze those pelvic floor muscles, hold them, and release. So it's like you're bringing your ribs and your pelvis together, crunching in, squeeze, pull up those pelvic floor muscles, engage those inner thighs, and release. And just continue doing that. One other thing that I do is when I'm driving in the car or sitting at my desk, I always have a water bottle near me. As you can see, I'm sure everyone's seen me with this one. So stick it in between my legs and squeeze it. Okay, so really it takes consistency like anything. You have to always focus in and engage those muscles. So pulling that navel in towards your spine, that kind of Michael Jackson, pulling in here and pulling up and holding that and releasing it. So doing it as often as you can, and it does work. I will tell you, it does work. And the third tip is obviously patience, because it doesn't happen overnight. So you need to be consistent with it. You need to focus on it, and it'll come. I hope those answers helped. Have a great day.